so now we have the complete ellipse for the connect sections, and then we have the two standard forms of an ellipse given the center, vertices, foci, and the endpoints of the minor axis, as well as the orientation of the given ellipse. So for example, this is the graph of your ellipse. This means that this is the major axis. So, horizontal major axis. Ibig sabihin yung representation ng equation 1. And then for the equation 2, we have the vertical major axis kung saan nakaano yung ellipse natin. So, since patayo yan, so ibig sabihin yung major axis natin is the y-axis, no? So, which means we have the vertical major axis. Ano naman yung tinatawag natin na center? So, the center will be the center of this ellipse. Nandito siya. And then, yung vertices natin, we have two vertices. If this is my ellipse, di ba horizontal yan? So, nandito yung V1 ko. And then, this is my V2. And then, yung focus naman, always din yan nasa loob ng ellipse. So, for example, nandito yung F2, and then nandito yung F1. Okay, so another one, what is the E? Yan po yung endpoints na minor axis. If this is ellipse with horizontal major axis, ibig sabihin, ito yung minor axis natin yung sa vertical. So ito yung tinatawag natin na E1, and then ito naman yung E2 natin. Okay, so for the next graph, we have an ellipse with vertical major axis kasi nga po kayo yung ellipse natin, no? So, this is the center. Ito naman yung V1 ko. And then, this is the V2. Tapos, nandito sa loob yung mga focus natin. Nandito yung F1. Nandito yung F2. So, again, since this is an ellipse with vertical major axis, so ibig sabihin, ang minor axis natin is the horizontal one. So, ito yung E1 ko, and then this is my E2. Okay, so para hindi kayo malito kung ano yung pagkakutin natin ng mga formula, so pag horizontal, parehas actually din sa numerators natin. Kung magpapansin nyo, parehas sa numerators natin. But the difference will be, pag nasa horizontal major axis tayo, mauna yung A. Tapos, pag sa vertical naman, mauna sa denominator yung B. So, same yung center natin. Dito naman sa vertices, binaliktad lang. Dito, H plus minus A. Dito naman, K plus minus A. So, you have to take note, pag ang vertex ang hinahanap mo, you need the value of A. Pag sa focus naman, foci, you need the value of C to get the foci. Para naman makuha mo yung T, you need the value of B. Okay? So, in ellipse class, we have to take note that A is always greater than B, and they are greater than 0. So, we have the formula for the C. C squared is equal to A squared minus B squared. You have to take note the operation minus to, hindi yung sa Pythagorean theorem na addition. Okay, so for this example, graph the ellipse described by the equation x plus 1 quantity squared over 9 plus y minus 2 quantity squared over 25 is equal to 1. Okay, so this is already in standard form. Kung mapapansin nyo, that is already in standard form. So, what the problem, how we can determine A at saka B? So, di ba sinabi natin dito na si A is always greater than B. So, which is greater than? Si 9 or si 25? So, obviously, 25 is greater than 9. So, ibig sabihin, itong 25, that is the value of A squared. Again, yung 25 plus, that is the value of A squared. Hindi yan yung A. Naka-squared ko yan. A squared is equal to 25. So, what will be the value of A? Kukunin mo lang yung square root ng 25. Diba? Pag nag-apply tayo ng square root, it is either positive or negative. But in this case, wala namang distance na negative, so we have to take the positive one. So A is equal to 5. So that is the value of A. Again, pag kukunin mo yung A, titingnan mo kung alin yung mas malaki sa denominator. Since malaki si 25, square root mo lang yan, so you have the value of A is equal to 5. And then, for the value of B, so we have B squared is 9. So, same process, square root mo pa yan para makuha mo yung exact value ni B. So, this implies that B is equal to 3. So, you already have the value of A, you already have the value of B. So, paano natin hahanapin yung C? So, by using this formula. So, C squared is equal to A squared minus B squared. So, ang A squared natin is 25 hindi yung 5. So, 25 minus, ano yung B squared natin? We have 9. So, C squared, that is equal to 16. So, this implies, ang square root natin kay 16 ay 4. So, nakuha na natin yung value ni A, nakuha na rin yung B, at saka C. Okay, so how can we determine if that is an ellipse with horizontal major axis or vertical ba? So, since dito, ito si A squared, ito naman si B squared, kasi nga sinabi natin kanina na si A is always greater than B. So, since this is in the form, mas nauna yung B natin kaysa kay A, ibig sabihin that follows the second formula or the second equation. Ito yung kaparehas niya, di ba? Kasi nauna yung mas maliit. So, ibig sabihin, as an observation, kung mas maliit yung nasa first, we have an ellipse with vertical major axis. Kung mauna naman dito sa left side yung mas malaki, you have the ellipse with horizontal major axis. So since we already have the values of A, B, C, so we can now find the properties of an ellipse. So for the center, how can we find the coordinates of the center? So, yung center natin, ang coordinates natin dyan ay H at saka K pa rin. So, ibig sabihin, ang H natin ay yung katabi ni variable X, tapos yung opposite side niya, which is negative 1. Okay? And then, ang K naman natin, yung katabi ni Y, pero yung opposite side niya, that is positive 2. Okay, so we are done with the center. Next, we have to find the vertices. So, dalawa yung vertex natin. We have the V1. So, we have the coordinates H. Unahin ko muna yung positive 1. So, you have K plus 8. So, ang H natin, by substitution, we have negative 1. Ang K naman natin, we have positive 2. And then, the value of A will be 5. So that is negative 1, 2 plus 5, that is 7. For the V2, we have H, pero ito papalitan ko na yan ng minus. So I have K minus A, so that is negative 1, 2 minus 5. So that is equal to negative 1, 2 minus 5, that is negative 3. So those are the vertices. V1 is okay, next we have to get the foci. Okay, so F1, the formula for F1 will be H tapos K plus C. Positive yung yung sabihin. So you have to substitute again the value of H and K. So we have negative 1, 2, ano yung C natin? We have positive 4. So that is negative 1, saka 6. So, sa F2 naman, para hindi kayo malito, papalitan nilang yung addition ng subtraction. So, you have K minus C, negative 1, instead of addition, that will be minus 2 minus 4, and then negative 1 B, and then K. So, as an observation class, yung sa ano natin, E natin ang kailangan nyo yung value ng B. Para sa cosine naman, you have to get the value of C. For the vertices, you have to get the value of A. So, this will be, so I have C is equal to 4. And then by substitution again, ang H natin ay -1 plus B natin ay 3. And then ang K natin ay positive 2. So -1 plus 2 that is 2. So for the E2 naman, you have to change this into minus H minus B K. And then -1 minus 3, 2. So that is -4 at saka 2. So I am done with the endpoints of the modular axis. Okay, so let us try to graph this one by plotting the center, vertices, foci, at saka endpoints. So for the center, we have -1 at saka positive 2. So that is in the second quadrant, no? So this is my center. So B1 naman, we have -1, 7. -1, 7. So, again, example na to, that is an ellipse with vertical mature axis. So, we are expected to draw an ellipse that is in a vertical orientation, no? And this is the B1. Ito yung B1. B2 naman natin, we have -1, -3. So, nandito yan. So, this is my B2. For the foci 1, F1, so -1, 6. -1, 6. And dito yung F1. And then, ang F2 naman natin, -1, -2. So, nandito yung F2 natin. So, E1, we have 2, positive 2. Ito yan, no? And then, -4, 2. -4 at saka okay, so imagining that the Cartesian plane is equidistant units. So magiging perfect yung graph nyo whenever you are using a graphing paper. So again, yung function natin dapat nasa loob ng ellipse. Tapos yung distance from C to this one, to this E1, at saka E2, dapat equidistant yan. Ibig sabihin parehas yung distance from C to E1 and C to E2. And at the same time, the distance from C to B1 should be equidistant with the distance from C to B2. And at the same time, yung sa C2, F2 at saka C2, F1. So, pag hindi yan, pareha, pag hindi equal yung distance, ibig sabihin, may nagkamali sa computation nyo. Okay, so, yan yung final graph. Let us proceed on this second example. So, given the general equation of an ellipse, kukunin natin yung standard form. At the same time, we are going to graph the given ellipse. So, from this general equation, paano tayo pupunta sa standard equation? So, gagamitin lang natin class yung concept natin na ginamit sa method na ginamit natin sa circle, which is the squaring, completing the square method, no? So, first step, i-pair muna natin yung parehas yung variable. Dapat ipagtabi natin yung parehas yung variable. So, we have 4x squared minus 40x, and then, yung same variable naman para kay y. So, plus 9y squared minus 54y, and then the constant positive 145, ililipat natin yan sa kabila. So, that will be negative 145. So, you have to make sure na natin yung common factor nila, which is the 4. The factor 4, no? I-remove natin yung 4. So, magiging x squared minus 10x. Don't forget to divide also the 40 to 4. Kasi nga, magkasama sila kasi same variable sila, which is variable x. Again, if factor out natin yung common factor dito sa mga may variable x, which is 4. Kasi we have to make sure na ang x squared natin dito, maging previous na lang niya dito ay 1. So, ilalabas natin yung factor 4. Tingnan na natin 4 times x squared, that is 4x squared. 4 times negative 10, that is negative 40x. So, babalo lang siya dito. So, ang ginawa natin, i-remove natin yung common factor nila na 4. Dito naman, so common factor din sa kanila si 9. Kasi, again, si y squared, dapat ang matira lang sa loob ng parenthesis ay the coefficient 1. So, if I am going to remove the factor 9, so that will be y squared, negative 54 divided by 9, that is negative 6y. Negative 145. Okay? So, next, we have to apply the completing the square method. So, pwede na tayo mag-apply dito sa loob ng parenthesis kasi yung x squared natin, naging coefficient na lang niya ay 1. Same with y squared. So, paano po ba yung completing the square method? Tulad ng process sa circle at saka sa parabola. You have to consider the coefficient of the degree 1. So, in this expression, x squared minus 10x, si negative 10 yung i-divide natin sa 2, di ba? Negative 10 divided by 2, that is negative 5. But you have to square this 5, so that is negative 5 squared, that is positive 25. Okay? So, 4x squared. Asan ko ba i-add si positive 25? Dito sa katabi ni negative 10x. So, we have x squared minus 10x plus 25. Same process dito. We have to consider the coefficient of the degree 1 variable, which is the negative 6. So, same process, negative 6 divided by 2, that is negative 3. Tapos, i-square ko pa yan, magiging positive 9 na lang, diba? So, 9 plus 9. Y squared minus 6y plus 9. So, ano yung sinabi ko sa parabola? Na pag may i-add tayo sa left side of equation, we have to make sure na ma-i-add din yun sa right side of the equation. That is the by property of equality. Pero, ang i-add natin dito ay 25. So, negative 145. Na nakuha nyo sa'yo ipag-add na si 25. You have to consider the common factor na linabas natin kanina, which means na ang i-add natin dito is 4 times 25. Okay? So, 4 times 25. Kasi ang common mistake ng mga students, ang i-add lang doon sa right side ay yung 25, which is wrong. Kasi kailangan mo pa yan i-multiply doon sa factor na linabas mo kanina sa previous step. So, 4 times 25. You have to add that on the right side of the equation. Same dito sa variable y. Hindi si 9 lang yung i-add natin sa right side, kundi 9 times 9. Okay? So, plus 9 times 9. So, dito, this is a quadratic expression. So, we are going to factor this one. So, ano yung tinuro ko kaninang step? Ang step natin dito, kung ano man yung dinivide natin sa 2, yun yung itatabi natin sa variable, no? So, negative 5 yung dinivide ko sa 2, so that will be x minus 5 quantity squared plus 9. And then, same process dito. Ano yung dinivide natin sa 2? That is negative 3. So, yun yung itatabi ko by variable y. So, I have y minus 3 quantity squared. So, by simplifying this one, I have this 100. I have this 81. So, negative 145 plus 100 plus 81, that will give us a result of 36. Okay. So, kung mapapansin nyo class sa ellipse class, you have to make sure that the right side of the equation is only 1. divided by 36 is 1. So, since nag-divide ako dito sa 36, by property of equality pa rin, I have to divide all the terms by 36. So, ganun. So, that implies, again, pag magsusulat kayo ng another, huwag magsulatan ng equal sign, you have to use the arrow. So, 4 divided by 36, makakancel yung 4 dito. Ang matitira na lang sa denominator ay si 9. So, that will give us x minus 5 quantity squared over 9 plus, so same dito, I have to cancel the factor 9. Ang matitira na lang ay si 4. So, I have y minus 3 quantity squared over 4 is equal to 1. So, that is the standard form of the given general equation. So, yan na yung standard form natin. So, ang sabi niya sa problem, you have to graph the ellipse. So, you cannot graph the ellipse without enumerating or finding the properties. That is the vertices, foci, at saka yung endpoints ng minor axis. Pero, bago natin kunin yung center, vertices, foci, at saka endpoints, we have to determine the orientation of the given ellipse. Okay, since nauna yung mas malaki, si denominator na 9 na mas maunas ka yan, so ibig sabihin that is the equation 1. Which means this is an ellipse with horizontal major axis. Kasi nga, mas nauna yung denominator na mas malaki kaysa kay 4. Okay, so, diba kasi, rinicall natin na yung ellipse, it is being defined that A is always greater than B. So, since mas malaki ito, so, we have to use this formula. Okay. So, paano kunin yung A? A will be the square root of 9. Okay? A will be the square root of 9, that is 3. Kasi nga yung A squared natin, dito kasi siya nanggaling, A squared is equal to 9. Pero ang kailangan ko man yung value ni A, so I have to apply square root. So that is positive 3. So kay B naman, I have the square root of 4, which is positive 2. So how to find the value of C? So I have to use the given formula for C. So I have C squared is equal to A squared minus B squared. So ang A squared ko, I have 9. And then, B ko ay C. B squared ko ay C 4. So this is 5. So that is C is equal to square root of 5. So as an activity, graph this given ellipse. Right? Okay, so paano yan isasubmit yung activity na yan? You have to send that by private message sa Edmodo. So, i-message niyo sa akin sa Edmodo, wag lang sa comment section kasi pag sa comment section, makikita niyo yung solutions ng mga classmates niyo. Okay, so for this example, hindi ko lang sinulat. So, find the standard form of the equation of the ellipse given the center, which is in the origin. We have the major axis on y-axis, and the length of major axis is 6, and the length of minor axis is 2. Okay, so how can we get, or how can we derive the standard equation of this ellipse? So, first, ang sinabi niya sa given, So class, as usual, in solving problems, you have to consider the given on that problem. Kasi hindi yan ibibigay kung walang essence or kung walang magagamitan doon. Okay? So major axis is on y-axis. And we all know that y-axis is a vertical. So ibig sabihin, we have to use the second equation kasi sinabi niya ang major axis daw is on the y-axis. So ibig sabihin, ang orientation ng given ellipse natin is vertical ellipse. Okay? So given naman yung center natin, so we already have the value of h at saka k. Diba ang sinabi ko kanina sa introduction natin sa ellipse, A is the distance of the center papunta sa vertex. Yung C naman class, that is the distance of the vertex papunta sa isa sa mga foci or focus. Ang A naman natin ay yung B natin, that is the distance from vertex papunta sa endpoints. Okay? So you have to consider that definition kasi yun yung gagamitin natin sa problem na to. So the length of the major axis is 6. Diba? Kung mayroon tayong parabola, ellipse pala. Okay. So this is a vertical ellipse, no? Ang major axis natin dito ay vertical. So dito class, if this is my V1, tapos ito yung V2 ko, di ba ang sinabi ko, yung center papunta sa V1 or the center papunta sa V2, that is A. Diba? Sinabi ko, center to V1 at saka center to V2 is the value of A. So, ibig sabihin, from V1 to V2, this is the major axis. Diba ito na yung major axis natin? So, ibig sabihin, the length of the major axis is given by 2A. Kasi nga, dinoble natin yan. Kung yung sinabi ko naman kanina, from center to the E1 or E2, center papunta dito sa E1, that is my B. No? Another C to E2, another B. So, ibig sabihin, yung minor axis ko, ang length niyan ay given by 2B. Okay? Take note that 2A, that is the length of the major axis. Major axis. Tapos si 2B ko naman, that is the length of the minor axis. So, yung kakalimutan yan, ha? Okay. So, if 2A is the length of the major axis, ang sabi niya dito sa given, the length of major axis is equal to 6. So, ibig sabihin, itong 2A, pwede ko yan i-equate kay 6. Kasi nga, length of major axis is equal to 6, tapos that is represented by 2A. So, ibig sabihin si 2A na equal to 6. So, in this equation, take note, we already have the equation kasi we use equal sign, no? So, kailangan kunin yung value ng A. So, in what way? You just have to divide both sides by 2. Kasi ang kailangan natin kunin ay yung value ng A. So, that is A is equal to 3. So, nakuha ko na yung value ng A. Next. Ano yung given length of minor axis is 2. Tapos, ang sinabi ko, ang length ng minor axis is given by 2B. So, 2B equal to yan kay 2. Dividing both sides by 2, we have B is equal to 1. Okay? So, meron na tayong A at saka B. So, ma'am, paano kukunin yung C? So, gagamitin nyo lang yung formula na C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Okay, another activity, number 2 in your activity, you have to graph and give the properties of this ellipse. Isolve ko na yung A, isolve ko na yung B, graph, and then i-graph nyo yung given ellipse, tapos pag-i-enumerate lahat ng properties. Ibig sabihin, ibibigay nyo yung center, ibibigay nyo yung vertices, ibibigay nyo yung foci, endpoints, and then the graph. You can use bond paper or much better yung graphing paper.